Hello, hello. Welcome to another Write With Me Live. It is a unbelievably beautiful sunny day in Georgia where I am, so I am in a equally sunny, beautiful mood. So today's plan, I actually for once have a article idea lined up that I want to share with you, and we're just going to walk through how I'm going to write it. If you're new to these sessions, welcome. It is so great to have you. I love doing these. Basically, all it is, I write a blog post live. I hope that it gives you the chance to see the process of a writer on Medium, how I come up with my ideas, how I structure my articles, and every time I get tired of writing, I'll stop and take a little break and answer any questions that you may have. So if you've got any questions, don't be shy about popping them in the chat, and I will get to them when I get tired of writing. Okay, so I'll share my screen with you so you can see what I am looking at. Let's see. There we go. Hopefully you can see what I'm looking at here. And then, of course, if you have been to these before, welcome back. Very, very cool to see you. I'm seeing a couple of familiar names in the chat. So yeah, great to see you all. Today, I want to talk about why I want to write what I'm going to be writing today. First of all, I'll just share my stats with you. This is low for me. 83,000 views a month sounds like a lot, and I am very, very grateful for that audience. But it's gone down so much. Like if you look back even a month, it had 30,000 more views. And the month before that, same. And before that, even better, you know. So I'm down to like 50% of what I've had in the past. And whenever this happens, I think, why is this happening? There are a couple things going on. My writing quality hasn't changed. I think I'm a better writer than I was 6 months ago. So why are my views down? It could be that Medium's algorithm has changed. Something weird is going on, whatever. So when I do that and I'm like, all right, I really want to get a hit, I go to the homepage of Medium and I see what's popular on Medium. So I do Control F, popular on Medium. A mental trick, exercise is the only way to define aging. So now you have to scroll. 12 things I stole from people more successful than me, 12 tiny changes, 5 proven ways, 7 little things. And I notice a trend, right? A lot of these are like micro habity type things. And my really, really good friend, Amar, he posted what I think probably kicked off this whole trend. So if we look for him, he posted this article back in December. Let's see. Where is his most popular article? This one, 20 realistic macro habits. This article kicked off this latest trend, right? And since then, he's seen a lot of copycats, and he's about to see one more. Sorry, Amar. But I try to put my own spin on it. So that's kind of the background behind how I came up with this title that I got, right? So like usually I do small. Do not start with me. Okay, hang on. I don't know why this always happens. I'm really, really sorry. Thank you for bearing with me so far. Okay. So I'm talking about, I normally do shorter, like 6 to 7 traits or listicle type things, but I'm seeing a trend for very bitty little tips, right? Small hints. So that's why I've gone with a bigger listicle of 14. Tips. So I want to try to copy like the micro habit, micro trait, micro lesson type of thing. So that's what I'm going for here, but adding my own spin to make it like a psychological conversational tip. So this might not be 14. This might be like TK. That make talking easier, you know. So that's where I came from. That's where I'm going. That's what I'm trying to target. And if that's something that you're seeing, your own stats are low on Medium, A, you're not alone. B, you're just going to have to see what's happening right now on the platform. Do not like outright copy or steal from people, because I know how it feels to see when somebody's like copied my exact article and is earning money off the back of that. But you can let yourself be inspired by these kinds of things. The really cool thing about this is that I already have a bunch of tips that I've written full articles for. So what I'm going to do is go to my Medium account, type in psychology in the search, and see which one of these I can kind of copy. So here's one I can probably copy. Here's another. Here's a third. Done a lot of psychology stuff. Woof. All right, so that's enough to start with. So that gives me an idea for how I'm going to start to structure this. Introduction. One thing I've been noticing as well is a lot of publications are rejecting my stories if they don't have enough of a personal angle. So that's why I started this one with an intro that makes it clear that the reason I'm writing this is because I've been very socially awkward lately. And I think it's because I'm out of practice of talking to people. How... Hi, Lakara, and hi, Zach, by the way. I just saw them popping off in the chat. Not popping off, posting a comment in the chat. All right. The reason I changed that was because I want to make it immediately obvious to the reader what value they're going to get from this article. And I find that asking questions kind of is a really good way to force people to realize, yeah, you are going to get a concrete tip from this. We are improving at conversation. That's what we're doing with this article. Okay, here are TK ways to get less socially awkward and more conversation. It's not a great intro. I might tweak that later on, but whoops, I'm gonna go down. That's good to start with for sure. Okay, so number one. So out of these, let's see which one's done the best, and I'll probably start with that one because I know it's a strong performer. $44,000, $30,000, $28,000. Okay, perfect. Is that what it's called? I think it's material priming. Yes. Okay. And here's my study. It's so nice when you find that past you has already done the research for future you. And the nice thing about longer listicles, when I do short listicles, I put a lot of content in each bullet, but with shorter listicles, you only have to keep it to a paragraph or two. What's an object that elicits like flirtatious thinking? Like a candle? Is that too basic? We'll come back to that when I've had a bit more of a brainstorm. Why not place candle, okay, where, yeah, candle is kind of basic. All right, nevertheless, we've got that. Number 2. You poor Brian. I cracked myself up. Cognitive workload. One thing I have found is that as I've been in this pandemic longer, I have been narrating my life to myself in song way more than I ever did. I constantly am singing, not in a good way, not in like a Disney princess way. Researchers call this phenomenon cognitive. Number 3. I don't even remember what this was. Soft tension. So you'll notice that in these first 2 bullets, I first started with the research and then the how-to, and here I've done how-to and then the research. Sometimes I like to do it very formulaically, like when I do a listicle, I'll do situation, symptoms, solution, and do that for each bullet. But sometimes, especially when it's a shorter, more informal listicle, like shorter, more informal bullets, I like to mix it up a little bit more, whack in a whatever you want, a little less structured. Okay. Copy this paper. Actually, I can copy this whole thing. It's my words. What did I do? I started with research, didn't I? And how do you do that? puts the focus on you. Okay, so now we're out of pre-written tips. What I'll do now is stop and answer some questions. Do your programming articles in Better Programming and Towards Data Science perform well? Variable performance, and I can show you what I mean. I'll go to my stats page, medium.com/me/stats. So I have some that do very well, like, okay, no, where was it? I just did it here. Most popular coding languages of 2021. That's got 14,000 views. That's really good. But then equally, I've got some like this one in Towards Data Science, 711. And, oh, this one's actually Better Programming, 2.2K. This one didn't do as well. I mean, this one I only published the other day, so it's fairly low. But yeah, varies a lot. I think part of the reason is that I'm not a programmer, really. I haven't built up an audience that sees my name and is like, ah, yeah, she knows what she's talking about with programming. But I expect that's going to change since I publish about 1 or 2 per month on that topic, and people will come to recognize me and trust my voice as an authority. Does Tenderly have auto distribution? I would guess yes, because they're one of the Medium-owned publications. I'll show you. Go to the Medium editorial group here. You'll see that they show up. Oh, they were here. Maybe they no longer are. They used to show up there. Interesting that they don't anymore. At one point, they definitely were. How many distributed articles should I have to get $500 per month? Yeah, there's no real formula for this, unfortunately. I've had stories that earn me $500 in a month, and sometimes I've had to write like a story a day that earns me $20 to get that $500 a month. There's no real formula for this because it varies so much from article to article. How do you manage freelance clients that just keep asking for more and more? You know what, Ewan, I'm kind of in the middle of dealing with a similar situation right now. I think you kind of have to figure out, is it worth it to me? In this case, in my case that I'm dealing with right now, it is worth it that I keep, doing revisions, that I keep having meetings. In the future, it might not be. And one way I've seen to get around that is actually to create a contract where that's written up front, where I say, okay, you pay me for this, I will deliver that to you, and I will do 1 round of revisions. And then if you want more, you have to pay more. That kind of stops this particular freelance that I was looking at from going like back and forth with 10,000 rounds of revisions. But something I'm dealing with myself, Ewan, so we're in good company. At least we've got each other. Hi, I'm new to Medium. I've recently posted an article. Could you spare a minute to read and give your inputs? Unfortunately, I don't review stories like this. I do, I mean, if you want, you can buy an edit, so you can pay for me to review your story. More than happy to do that. But I have so many people ask me this question that it's just not fair otherwise, because I can't manage my time. So if you're interested, you can go to, I'll show you here, zulywrites.com/for writers, and here you can purchase an edit where based on word count, it'll give you a different price. What tool do you recommend to collect all my Medium articles, Airtable, or maybe something better? I want to add links to my articles when I write new ones. That's a great idea. I don't know of any tools, but if Airtable works for you, please, please, please let me know and get back to me, because that's a really, really cool idea. Right, I'm going to stop and do some more writing now. So please feel free to keep posting comments and questions in the chat, though. I'll get to them my next brain stop. So conversational tricks. Oh, I forgot. Zuli impression. There. I think I wrote this one live because I remember asking for feedback as I was writing this story. And this one did really well, actually. It got like, I think 15,000 views in the end. Can't spell frontal. Okay, number 5. Let's think of other ways to do that. So what are conversational tips to, I'm actually going to change this to tricks rather than tips. I don't know how you say, oh. I keep misspelling mnemonic. I think it's, I don't know why. I think I get it confused with pneumonia, which is a totally different word. Okay, number 6. I wonder what would this look if I did a smaller T? I actually kind of like that better. What do we think? Small or big? Small or big? Nobody seems to have any opinions, so I'll come back to that. I kind of like small. I feel like it's like a little bit more cozy, a little bit more informal, a little bit fun. I don't know. That's my thought. Soft tension. Okay, where were we? Perfect first impression. Remember their name. Okay, so what are some, up till now, I have literally only listed stuff that I've written. I need to come up with other stuff. Okay, so I'll go and answer some questions while I think of my next one. From Basco today, I was added as a writer to Postgrad Survival Guide. Amazing publication. Next week, I will try to publish my first ever article. Oh, cool. Okay, so yeah, Vasco was talking about this story earlier. When you publish it, if you come to another of these, please post it in the links. I'd love to read it. Does 1.0 articles perform well? What type of topics they like most? They like stuff about technology. They like current events and technology. I've had a couple 1.0 stories. Let's find out here. 1.0, medium.com. They don't tend to go viral for me. I've never had a 1.0 story go viral. And here, I'll show you what I mean. See the rain. These are all in 1.0. So I've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the one that's performed best is my sexbot one. And I think it's because it literally has the word sexbot. Whoops. Sexbot in the title, which I think was a little clickbaity. But look, this one didn't actually do that well. If we click on it, let's get view stats. It's done okay, 15,000 views, but not amazing. And the vast majority of those were actually external. So I have not seen amazing results from 1.0 personally. I mostly write with them because they pay. 1.0 is like a very cool byline to have. If you publish in Mind Cafe is an amazing publication, but it's not very well known outside of Medium. 1.0 is very, very well known and respected by all kinds of journalists, writers, and readers inside and outside Medium. And they pay a $300 flat fee, which is, for me, a huge bonus. Okay, so actually, yeah, let's go back to do some questions. Sorry, I still haven't come up with another listicle. My first submission to the startup got approved and published. Is a good start or just luck? Everything on Medium is a combination of the two. It is a good start. The startup is a really cool publication. They don't take just anybody, so I think that's a really good start. As for luck, I think in this case, it's probably a better start than it is luck. You have to write well to be accepted by the startup. So congratulations. I'd say that's a solid start. I'm a programmer and don't write about it, nor am I interested. Lol. Totally fair. Don't do it if you hate it. I have all the scientific information articles. I don't get a lot of views. Don't know what to tell you. Those are the ones that do best for me. It might be that your best performing topic is something else. Here's the follow-up. Should I write less informational and more improvement and psychology articles? So if you want to get readers, you have to answer this question. What are you giving them? With self-improvement and psychology, I'm giving them, like my titles tell them what I'm giving them. I'm giving them a way to make a good first impression. I'm giving them a way to tell lying. You can see that and be like, oh, right, okay, that's how I can immediately use that for my life. Informational articles, by default, have a smaller group of interested readers because not that many people are interested in information, right? Like more people are interested in things that are going to be immediately impactful on their lives. So these are all backed by science. These are all informational, but they all give something immediately and obviously valuable to the reader. And I think that's why these tend to perform better for me. As a new writer, I've heard it can take up to 2 weeks for a curator to interact with and review your stories. True, I have heard that. I'm no longer a new writer though, so I can't answer this with any assurance. What's your experience like with Better Marketing? Positive for the most part. They're a great publication. They have a really big audience. I have found that my stuff just doesn't do very well there. It might be because I'm not a marketer. I don't know how to write to reach that audience, but I know that Better Marketing does have a big following and that they are very active and engaged with their readers. How can I convert 10K external views on my piece to internal views? Right now, I only have 200 internal views with a payout of only $6. Ouch, I've been there. You can't. So if you're getting external views, it doesn't make sense to try to convert those to internal. What it makes sense is to think about how you can get those external readers to give something to you, because readers are all valuable, right? Do you have a mailing list where you could be trying to collect email addresses? Do you have a website that you could be trying to send them? Do you have other articles you could be trying to promote for them? If you're getting external views, that is not a bad thing. That is a very, very good thing, because the Medium Partner Program is great, but a $10,000 article gives you a couple $100, which is good. But 10,000 external views could mean super expanding your email list. It could give you business for your coaching career if you have one. Don't squander those. Those are very, very valuable. Okay, I'm up to date with questions, which means I am unfortunately forced to come up now with my number 6. All right, we're going to go to one of my favorite resources of all time, scholar.google. How to appear attractive. Why not? Since 2017, that makes sure that I'm using something that's recent and relevant. Psychology. Are you like smiling? This looks interesting. Oh God, that's long. All right. Something about Instagram, yada, yada, yada. Celebrities' credibility and attractiveness. All right, what were the results? The type of smile significantly affects purchase intentions. Okay, this is good. This is usable. Okay. All right, solid. Oh, I've made that one big by mistake. And number 7, we are cracking right along. Let's see what else we got. I'm going to try to do one more. Before I stop and answer questions. That does not look what I want. This looks interesting. What is this? Everyday distractions can impair long-term memory. That's not really what I want. Okay, this looks interesting. Conversational entrainment. productive chat. All right. The whole, okay, so here's a great tip. If you're trying to access a publication and like I don't know where the full thing is here. Oh, can I download this? Maybe. No. Go to ncbi.n blah, 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 this website here, and paste the whole link in, the title. And often, yeah, look, they have the whole thing available for free. Pretty cool, right? You can download the full text here. So that should help. Okay, so we want to get the full article. Did not mean to do that. Their research from a 2019 paper. That's this one. And then it's always nice to be able to cite the full paper to your readers and be like, look, boom, when you mirror 3 aspects of their conversation. So that is, what were those 3 aspects? Verbal, like they form their sentences. Lexical, lexical, like types of words they use, and it's nonverbal. This has been demonstrated to give us productive and fulfilling conversation. Into Bori et al. 2019. That's them, right? 2019, I'm not wrong? Yeah, boom. 7. Number 8. All right, I'll stop and answer some questions because I feel like it's been a while. Where was I? Can I search from the internet and copy the content inside the articles by changing it a bit? Will it be problematic on Medium? Yeah, it will. That's called plagiarism. Please don't do that. I mean, you're watching me do this here, right? This is hard for me to do. I put a lot of time and effort into writing, and the thought that somebody might copy exactly what I do, paste it, change it a little bit, and sell it themselves, that kind of sucks. So I would really, really recommend that you don't do it. It can get you banned from Medium because that is plagiarism and you're copying somebody else's work. So I would definitely not recommend that from a personal perspective and for a success on Medium perspective. How to manage email subscribers via Convertkit. I have a 1 Substack email list. How should I use Convertkit? Substack is great for beginners if you don't have that long of an email list, if you don't want to do anything that's sophisticated. Convertkit is good if you want to start segmenting. So for example, I have Convertkit. I've got about 3,000 subscribers there. If people click on a link signifying that they're showing interest, I can target those people and send them a follow-up. It also lets me do A/B testing on my headlines, which is very, very useful information. So I test out every single email I send out with 2 headlines. And what else do I like about Convertkit? I can set up sequences. So when somebody signs up to my mailing list, I have an automated 5-day email list. One email gets sent out per day. I don't have to manage that. They sign up and Convertkit sends them all out for me. So that's really nice. And also they do courses every Thursday. They put on a webinar, a training webinar. So useful, so good. Can't recommend them enough. How do I advise that I post the piece again if I build a website to link to the Medium piece? So Medium has a very, very strict anti-duplicate content rule. And besides that, there's also, unfortunately, no guarantee that if you posted it again, you'd get the same response. I meant that more to keep in mind if you see that kind of thing going on in the future. Just make sure that you capture those external views as well. What you can do, and what I've done in the past, if I have an older piece, like 6 months or a year old, I'll copy it, significantly change it, like adding more research, adding more quotes, trimming down the fat, making it better, in other words. And then I republish it myself. And then at that point, you can put whatever you want in the bottom. You do have to delete the old one if that happens, though. How old are you? Depending, I'm just wondering if I should lie about that or not. I'll just leave that as a mystery. Y'all can just guess. Okay. Back to the grind. Where was I? Coming up with interesting stuff. It is not good to talk. Conversation has a fixed interference cost on attention. What is self-play? What are conversational agents? Do they mean like chatbots? God, what does this mean? We're going to see if I can't find this in NCBI and maybe get a little bit more information in the methods. No items found. Tragic. Can I try all databases? No, it just doesn't exist. How do I get access? Full article. Maybe I can get the full article here. No, I have to log in. Dang it. I hate paywalls. All right, never mind. Relational exchange. This looks very promising. All right, let's see if we can find this in the NCBI. I hope this is telling you how much of my time I spend researching and how little I spend like actually writing. Tragically not. Okay. Let's see if I can I get the full article here? No. All right, can I get this from... Maybe I can just pull from the abstract here. Social exchange theory. Social exchange theory, that sounds interesting. Social exchange theory. What was that wording? Social bonds and trust produce relationship satisfaction. How would you do that, though? I wonder if I can't find a Wikipedia article. Oh, perfect. This is what I love. Wikipedia, I wouldn't recommend citing it, but the nice thing about Wikipedia is that they cite all their own sources. How does it work? Typo, embarrassing. Oh no, that's not a typo, that's an author. Oh my God, I'm the embarrassing one now. I'm not going to use this, actually. I don't think it's worth it. I've already had to spend too much time parsing it. Can I not just read this? Nope. This is interesting. See if I can't get this. Oh my God, no luck. Tragic. All right, let's see if we can't just get this from here then. Number 9. We're doing well so far. I'm going to stop and answer any questions people have. As I understood from your email, you didn't like Wattpad. What is your next platform for review? I'm still working on Wattpad, actually. There are a lot of things I like about it. What I don't like so far is that it's very, very, very hard to get views. I've had 5 views so far on my 4 chapters. What I like about it is that it's easy to publish. It's easy to tag. It's got a really cool, hopefully when I start getting views, it's got a really cool engagement mechanism where you can see how people break down demographically who are looking at your stuff. So I love all that. It's just about figuring out how I can get views. So I will be trying to figure that out. My next platform for review, I'm actually going to be trying Upwork next and Fiverr to see if it's possible to build a freelance business off of those. I'll keep you up to date. Hi, Zuli. Got a rejection email, but a separate email from Medium saying my story was published. I didn't know what this means. Wanted to try to publish in another pub, but is this allowed? So, Andrea, I'm guessing what you mean is that you submitted it to a publication. They said no, but then you got an email from Medium saying that it had been published in that publication. Let me know if that's the case, because if that is, that's weird. That's not the normal flow of things. And I would say that you're probably going to be okay to republish that somewhere else, or delete it and then resubmit it somewhere else. New Chrome extensions for Medium in 2021. None that I found so far. Thinking of writing about my failed startup story. How would it be interesting if you were the reader? Just wary of revealing too much is bad, though. One of the best stories I ever read was my friend Michael wrote this story called Michael Thompson. How he lost $250,000. He lost $250,000. I think the story is so good because it's a great example of how telling a story about failure is actually really, really engaging for readers. Most of us are not perfect. Most of us kind of suck and have made mistakes and have taken the wrong path. I think that's how by getting vulnerable and exposing some of those vulnerabilities and failures, that's how you reach readers. Now, if you're trying to build another startup and you're looking for venture capital, then maybe don't talk about your failures, because VC people might look at that and be like, oh, we don't trust this person. But as for readers, I think they are interested in that kind of stuff. Do you always include research in your articles? If I'm talking about something that I haven't directly experienced myself, yeah, I think it's pretty good to back up any claim with research. Where was I? Looking for number 9. See, that's what I mean. I'm just constantly singing. This looks interesting. Now we just need 1/10. Oh, I've done it again. Big or small t? Small t. Small t. Does she talk about how to do good teasing? Scrolling down to the conclusion. Let's go for 11. I feel like I'm going to do one more and then I'll give it a break. All right, let's see. What have we got? Oh, no new questions. Perfect. I'll crack on. Okay, so I think I just need to come up with a good conclusion. Talking is a superpower. All right, so I'll stop, answer some questions. Oh, still no questions. Seriously, if y'all have questions, please post them. I'm happy to help. But yeah, normally at this stage, I like to read my story aloud. This catches typos, helps me tighten up structure, get rid of fluff. Literally the best thing you can do for your story is reading it aloud. 11 tricks I stole from psychologists that make conversations easier. Many people may think that they are conversational gods, But most of us feel a little awkward, especially if it's been a long time since you've spoken to anyone outside your bubble. How can you improve a conversation when you're out of practice talking to people? I find the best way is to study the experts. Honestly, my conversational skills have gotten unbelievably rusty. Talking well and easily is a skill that you can improve and lose like any other. Here are 11 tricks I use, recommended, and backed by psychologists to be less socially awkward at talking to other normal humans. Number 1, influence how people think with material priming. Researchers found that placing themed objects in the room you're having a conversation affects how the person you're talking to thinks and feels. To use this trick for yourself, think about the tone you want to set when your conversation and which objects might set that tone. For example, if you're trying to flirt with someone, why not place a candle in the room or a bed? Number 2, make sure they tell the truth by asking them to repeat their story backwards. There's no shame in having a faulty lie detector when it's been a year without social contact. If you're trying to suss out if someone is telling the truth about something that happened, you can get rid of it. If you're trying to suss out if someone is telling the truth, ask them to repeat the story in reverse order. If they struggle, they're probably lying to you. Psychologists call this phenomenon the cognitive workload. Telling the truth is easy, but if you're lying, telling the truth is easy. If you're lying, that's an extra burden on your poor brain. Imagining your fake story in reverse is much trickier than simply repeating an honest story backwards. Number 3, grab someone's attention with soft tension. Most people spend the majority of their conversation sharing their own views rather than focusing on the other person. The authors of a 2017 paper in blah, 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 blah tell us. This makes it hard to grab someone's attention without waving your arm in their face and shouting their name repeatedly. To avoid that, simply build soft tension. Ask a question you know they'll be able to easily answer. This allows them to stay the center of their own world, but puts the focus on you. Examples include asking about favorite music, genres, or books, or foods. Number 4, make a perfect first impression by tickling their frontal lobe. The words you use when you meet someone affect how they think of you pretty much for the rest of your acquaintance. If you want to knock it out of the park the first time around, use positive language to stimulate their frontal lobe. A study in 2009, conducted by Maria Richter et al., described how the presence of negative words like disgusting, grueling, dirty cause stress in the moment, as well as contributing to long-term anxiety. Positive words like refreshing, celestial, and warming conversely decrease the expression of stress hormones. Number 5, remember their names with mnemonic devices. It's no secret that a person's name is the sweetest sound to them. Ensure you give your conversational partner what they want by remembering and using their name in conversation. One 2016 psychological study found that it's much easier to remember names if you use mnemonic devices. For instance, if you meet someone named Oliver, you might remember that he has blue dots all over his tie. Number 6, don't fake it till you make it. Talking can be stressful. There's no harm in acknowledging that. But if you want an easier conversation, if you want people to like you, don't be tempted to fake it till you make it. If you don't feel like smiling, don't pretend. Wait until you can genuinely smile. Research from a 2019 paper shows that consumers can instinctively tell the difference between real and fake smiles, even for Instagram celebrities and influencers. If they can't convincingly pretend to smile, you probably can't either. Number 7, use conversational entrainment to have a more productive chat. Okay, here's something that I didn't notice. I want to keep my formatting consistent, so no trailing punctuation. Psychologists define this as spatiotemporal coordination resulting from rhythmic responsiveness to a perceived rhythmic signal. In human talk, this means you mirror what they do. Research from a 2019 paper shows this works best when you mirror 3 aspects of their conversation. Verbal cues, like the way they form their sentences. Lexical, like the types of words they use. And nonverbal, like eye movements. This has been demonstrated to give us productive and fulfilling conversation, according to Bori et al. 2019. Copy improv stages with the yes and approach. Improvisational theater is famous for the yes and approach. In order to keep conversation flowing and expand on a line of thinking, improv actors say yes and. Research has shown that this strategy works well to foster collaboration and trust in businesses and academic settings. To do this, catch yourself the next time you start to say no or go off on a conversational tangent. Instead, try to yes and whatever your conversational partner was saying. Number 9, ramp up your listening level. I can be guilty of putting my listening ear on autopilot, especially in group conversations. Many of us don't actively listen, but just passively absorb and assume we're understanding what people are saying. This isn't true. Research shows that actually listening demands a lot of effort, and the more effort you put in, the better you listen. To make friends and influence people in your next conversation, try to simply be aware that listening is an active exercise and ensure you're hearing and reflecting on what your conversational partner has told you. Number 10, don't cross the teasing line. Teasing is viewed as a fun and harmless way to casually chat and joke, but it can have real harmful repercussions to your relationship with the person you're talking to. Teasing is often negatively evaluated when it is meant to amuse the hearers at the target's expense or it is delivered in a non-affectionate way, writes Valeria Sinkeviciute in her 2017 paper on the subject. Instead, ensure that you go for an affectionate delivery, that you don't target the same person repeatedly, and that you don't make jokes at the expense of a single person. Number 11, find a shared interest. Starting from ages as young as 4, research shows humans have a strong perception of us versus them. Luckily, a shared interest is all it takes to get into the us group with whoever you're speaking with. If you're struggling to chat, try looking for something you have in common with your conversational partner. Sports, music, books, food are all great places to start looking. Talking is a superpower. I'm always in awe of people who can strike up a conversation and easily bond with others within the span of a few minutes, being socially awkward myself. But like any other skill, it's something you can learn and improve at. These 11 psychological tricks can help you manage conversations a little more easily, especially when you're out of practice. Sweet. Now we just need a subtitle. One tip for a subtitle if you're ever not really sure. You can copy. Now an image, pixels. Conversation. Orientation, horizontal. This one's kind of, I love it. Oh, 15 million views. So one thing I always try to do is I try to look for a picture that has fewer than 1 million views just to make sure I'm not using the exact same picture that's been used 1,000 times before. I like this one, but it's kind of like Christmas themed. It's frustrating. Oh, I love this one. I'm going to use it. It's only got 1.06. Okay. I'm going to reveal a secret to you. I have 3 publications in mind for this. This is how I'm going to decide which ones will like it best. Mind Cafe. So, if you're ever wondering what the audience of a publication wants, here's what you do. You add trending to the URL. Psychological trick, 3 pieces of advice, how to do things you don't want to do, 3 little things you can do to become more likable, optimism. Oh, that one's mine, LOL. 3 habits of insanely productive people, 4 ways of thinking that can sabotage your future success. Oh, that one's fine too, have fun. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's interesting. Let's try the ascent. We're gonna do the same thing. Latest. Nope, not latest. Trending. Oh my god, not that. Trending. Empathy. Achieve mastery. 3 meta habits. Stop buying courses. Cured my anxiety. Read. Ah, did not mean to zoom in like that. Interesting. And we're going to try P.S. I Love You. Interesting. I wonder if it's because they have a custom domain. Yeah, look at that. So if we try trending here, we put in a backslash. The only way to determine if someone is the love of your life, help your friend cope through a personal crisis, 7 signs of a good match. Ode to grandmothers, caged bird sings, 5 things your partner can't do. So out of these trending options, I'm feeling like Mind Cafe was the best. So we're going to submit it there. Mind Cafe. Mind Cafe. 11 tricks I stole from psychologists that make conversations easier. All right, psychology, relationships, communication, self-improvement, and submit. Dun, 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 dun. 1 hour and 23 minutes later, here we are. Okay, so I will stop sharing my screen and I will answer any remaining questions that you may have for me at this time. What are the best sources for psychology-based research? I love using Google. So I will go to Google Scholar, scholar.google.com. And then if I can't find the article I want there, I'll go to ncbi. I'm just going to post them in the chat. NCBI. This is the one that works really well for me. Well, you didn't steal them, you learned from them. Also reference, don't say researchers say, that's better communicating. Yeah, so this is a really good point. I am not writing for psychologists. I'm writing for my readers. And I've noticed that my readers do like those kinds of titles and they like it when I use that kind of language. So this is actually a great point. You really have to think about who you're writing for. I have 2 degrees in biology. I know how to write academically, but my readers, that's not what they want. They want kind of listically clickbaity stuff. If the majority of my readers were psychologists, I'd probably write more academically and more like, not truthfully, because I'm not lying exactly. But, you know, I would write in a way that was more geared towards them. But most of my readers aren't psychologists. Great point. Love that. Okay, looks like we are fully up to date with questions. So thank you all for joining me on this Write With Me Live. Any questions, pop them in the chat. I answer them on Mondays, and I will go have my lunch because as always, I am starving. Until we meet again, happy writing, everyone. Bye, y'all.